Hey, what's up guys? It's Nick here, and in today's video we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a reflection of your past year and kind of looking forward into where you want to be in the next year. And this is an exercise that I do every single year just to kind of set myself up for a better year, but also to reflect on my past year and understand, how far I've come and what have I ever accomplished. And I think it's very important to do these exercises at least, once a year, but even better, once a month or once a quarter, just to kind of get yourself, set yourself back up to game and make sure that you are ready to move forward and you understand where you are right now. So today we're going to talk about 3 questions I ask myself every single beginning of the year, and like I said, sometimes even in the middle of the year or every kind of quarter. And these 3 questions are just very powerful. They're very simple, but they're very powerful if you really implement them into your life. So let's just jump right into it. So the first question is, where was I last year? First question you have to ask yourself, where was I last year? And often we kind of underestimate this question because sometimes we get so much in today, we focus so much on what we're doing today, where we want to be tomorrow. We forget about where we were last year, where we were and what kind of, habits, what kind of place we were. And we underestimate how much happened in 1 year. We underestimate how far we went, in the year. So I always like to kind of look back at exactly where I was last year and understand in what position was I in, what was I doing, where was I living, with whom was I living, with whom was I doing stuff. Looking back at your past year will give you clarity on how much or how little you did. If you look back at your past year, if you look back exactly 1 year, 1 year ago, let's say you're watching this on the 10th of January last year, where were you? Looking back at your last year will give you a lot of clarity on where you are right now. It sounds weird, but if you look back at yourself exactly 1 year ago, so let's say, today is the 10th of January, look exactly back at the 10th of January last year and see where you were, because that is going to help you understand how far have you come, today, what have you accomplished today, where are you right now? But before we go into that, let's first dig into where you were back in the day, because that is what's going to set you up for a better tomorrow. For example, if I even look back at my own life, 1 year ago, exactly at this day, I was living in Belgium. I was trying to get my own coaching business, up and running. I was trying to, build my own coaching business and help other people. I actually was I already quit my university, but I was just speculating, am I doing the right stuff? I was a little bit worried about my life. And when I did this exercise this year and I looked back at it, I was completely flabbergasted that was just 1 year ago. That was just 1 year ago that I was living in Belgium. I was doing all of this stuff that I'm not doing anymore right now. For example, I was definitely also not even doing YouTube, and now this year I am doing YouTube. Even those small shifts are just crazy. So I always like to look back at exactly a year ago and understand where I was. So look back for yourself. If you look back 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago, where were you? What country were you living in? What city? What house? With whom was you living? Whom were you hanging out with? What were you doing? What kind of habits were you doing? Were you eating healthy? Were you not eating healthy? Look back and exactly understand where were you? What were you doing? Give that whole clarity. You can do it in a storyline. You can do it in bullet points. Doesn't really matter. It's just getting that awareness, just understanding, where were you? So now that we got clarity on where we were last year exactly, the next question I want you to ask yourself is, where are you today? So let's compare that right now. So what is different, from last year? Where are you now today? Are you doing different habits? Are you doing different, are you living in a different place? And because now we have that clarity on last year, we can kind of compare that to where we are right now. And it is very important to do so, because now is the point where you're gonna figure out, have I accomplished all the things I wanted to? Am I, further in life, or am I backwards in life? Am I at this exact same position? More than often, actually, I figure out for myself that I'm not in, by any means in the exact same position. Every year I'm somewhere else, doing something else with someone else, not partner-wise, but with friends and different kind of people that I met. And it's always flabbergasted me, when I look back at my last year and then I look back where I am right now, I'm like, damn, did all of that happen in just 1 year? This is just really 1 year ago? So I really find that exercise super, super powerful. For example, to tell you guys about my life right now. So I told you guys I was living in Belgium. Right now I'm living in London with my girlfriend. I'm not building my coaching business as I was last year. I'm actually working as a full-time coach in a coaching company where we help people build coaching businesses. And I started YouTube. These big shifts were happening, but also smaller shifts happened in my life. For example, I went vegan. I'm not eating meat at all, because I wanted to take care of my body. Or I got myself a standing desk. It's just a small change, but now that I got myself a standing standing desk, my back improved. Or I finally also started to recycle, and I started to invest. I finally invested my first 30K last year. And last year when I was, the 10th of January last year, I didn't invest $1. And now I have 30K invested because I took it seriously. So when I look at those things, when I look at, the past year and I look at right now, I'm like, so many different shifts, so many different changes that I didn't even, anticipate or expected. So for yourself right now, look, we looked already back where we were last year. Now look, where are you right now? Where are you living? With whom are you living? Whom are you hanging out with? What are you doing? What are your hobbies? Are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you not eating healthy? Don't only look at the positives, also look at the negatives, because it is very important to understand all the different facets in life. Because if you look at the positives, you can kind of, pat yourself on the back and be proud of yourself and feel accomplished. But if you look at the negatives, let's say last year you worked out for, 5 times a week, and now you kind of don't work out, or you just work out 2 times a week. Now that we know that, we can improve that, right? We can work on it. But if we don't get that clarity, if we don't understand where we were last year and we look at where we are right now, we won't have that clarity and we won't know what to improve. So let's, answer that question for yourself right now. Where am I today? And you can kind of, make a sub question on that. What did I accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? Just get clarity of the difference of where you are last year and where you are today. And don't overlook those small changes, because often we take for granted all the small things that we did, all the small, like for example, me going vegan. Like I could take that for granted and be like, yeah, it's just normal, right? No, it's, I'm getting a sense of accomplishment. I'm like, I'm saving a little bit of the world. I'm being a bit more healthy. So don't overlook at it. And this is just a big thing I want to move forward here. Just not taking all of these small things for granted. And now that we got clarity on, where we were last year and where we are right now, we have all of that out of the way. We have all of it in the bullet points. The last question I want you to ask is, where do you want to be next year? Like, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of setting goals. Like, I don't like setting goals because often I don't achieve it or I'm going to do something completely different. But I do like to see goals as kind of a compass, it's kind of like, where do I want to be? Where do I want to head towards? So like, if you have a compass, that northwest, southeast, and you're lost in the woods and you're going to use that to go back home, right? It's kind of a similar effect here. Like, if you're going to set a goal right now, if you're going to set a compass that you want to achieve at the end of the year, and it will help you to get less distracted. So let's say your goal is, to build your first business or to invest like 30K. And right now, you get into the middle of the year and you're doing all kinds of different things. If you look back at your compass, you're like, hey, I wanted to build a business at the end of this year. Am I doing this right now? No. So I gotta kind of shift direction and gotta focus again. But if you're not, if you haven't put this compass at the beginning of each year, how do you know if you're walking in the right direction? So that is why it's important to kind of set those goals at the beginning of each year, set your compass so that you're going into the right direction. And more often than I would like, I actually don't achieve my goals or I don't achieve my compass. But you know what actually happens when you set a compass and you actually fight for it? Let's say you want to build this business and you actually fight for it, you actually go for it every single day, you take action, and you don't achieve it at the end of the year. What actually happened, you achieved all kinds of different stuff. You actually learned a lot of different skills. Maybe you got different kind of opportunities. And I have an amazing example of myself. Like I said, I wanted to build my own coaching business last year. And my goal was, by the end of December, I'm going to make 25K a month and I'm going to help all these amazing people. What happened in the middle of the year, like I was taking action to that. I was every single day, I was putting in the work, taking the hustle, doing all of it's necessary to get to that goal that I wanted to be. But what happened is, I got hired by an amazing coaching company where I can help people build their own coaching businesses. I was doing those programs myself, and because of my hard work, because of my work ethic, because I put everything in and I didn't give up, the guy who hired me noticed that and he wanted me to join his team. But it would have never happened if I didn't set my compass, if I didn't set my goal for the end of the year to build my coaching business. Because if I didn't set that compass, I would have been lazy, I would have done something else, would have, been distracted. But I wasn't distracted, I was focused. And then something else amazing happened that I didn't even expect. So the reason why I'm telling you this is, don't get too caught up of like getting the perfect goal, the perfect compass, or the perfect, where do I want to be next year? Because you might not achieve it, 70-80% of you probably won't achieve it. But the biggest thing is to setting that goal, setting that compass, and actually fighting for it. Every single day, hustling, fighting, working, doing all of that, and then amazing things will happen. You might reach it. This is amazing. You might learn amazing skills. You might get to know amazing new people, or you might find another awesome opportunity. So don't take it for granted. Let's set that compass and let's fight for it. So ask yourself this question: where do you want to be at the end of this year? Where do you want to live? With whom do you want to be? Who do you want to hang out with? Who do you want to meet? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to build? What do you want to create? Get all of those questions out of the way. Understand where you want to be, because that's going to give you that clarity. That's going to give you that compass to, go forward and go forward in life with a direction. So hopefully those questions have helped you. Hopefully you can move forward right now. You reflected on back in the past year. You reflected on where you are today, and now you're moving forward. You're reflecting on where you want to be next year. And whatever left is for me to say is really take consistent action right now. It doesn't matter if you haven't achieved all your goals from last year. It doesn't matter if you're not where you want to be right now. The best day to start anything is today. So make sure you take consistent action. Make sure that today, after this video, you take some kind of action towards your goal, towards your dreams, and go fight for it. And make sure that it's consistent. We talk about it a lot, right? Compound interest, compound effect. If you take everyday little actions forward, towards your compass, you're gonna get your goal that you wanted to set, or you're gonna get something more amazing. You're gonna find a different kind of opportunity. So get going, answer those 3 questions that we have, where was I last year? Where am I this year? And where do I wanna be next year? And take consistent action. And I see you guys next time.